This presentation is made possible by these amazing individuals and organizations, whether it was through Patreon, Super Chats, Super Stickers, or by watching, liking, and commenting. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the morning show. I am so happy to see you all here. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces in the chat, lots of my mods, and I want to thank you guys for being here and just helping me out with the channel today, keeping it safe for everyone. Wow, let's see who is in the chat. Let's see. We've got Keith E first up. Says, my invisible hippopotamus is chasing the trash truck. I'll get back here when I can. It's all good. Well, yes, whenever you well, I see you return, so you must be okay. Let's see. Unicorn Rampant Studios here. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day in Pittsburgh. I'm listening in while getting my hair did before walking all the dogs. Oh, that is really cool. Oh my goodness. And let's see, Brogu is here. It says, "Good morning, everyone, and a special good morning to the incredible retro nerd girl." Well, thank you, Brogu. You're super, super sweet. I love compliments in the morning. Let's see. Look, it's Hungry Jerk is here. Let's see. If I yes, Hungry Jerk is here. Says hi. I can only join for a little while, and we appreciate you being here for as long as you possibly can. We appreciate you so much. And let's see. We've got and Hungry Jerk says, Dave, Pat, RNG should have a retro nerd convention. I know that would be so cool. Like, I don't know, the retro axis or something. I don't know. Like, we need to like converge in like a huge, um, like get together, whether that be online or even in person. That'd be great to see everyone in person. But I probably am a long way from that. But it's nice making so many wonderful friends this year, and people are so kind and sweet to me. So, um, yeah, that would be a good idea. Thank you, Hungry Jerk, for suggesting that. Movie Madness and Entertainment is here. Hello, says morning retro nerd girl. Only watched a couple of episodes of Vision. The first one was great. Oh yeah, I really liked it. I really liked this. It was really good. I'm gonna talk about each one. Um, so if you get a chance, I just binged them all in one setting, and it was so great. I was like blown away by each one. But I can understand if you only have just enough time to watch just one. Yeah, we're gonna get into details of it all. And Hungry Jerk says, Keith, you were in the industry. Oh, Keith was in the industry as well. Oh, cool. Let's see. And Hungry Jerk says that she has a cute laugh. Well, thank you. Oh, look, and Facing is here. Good morning, Vietnam. I mean retro and everyone in chat. Oh, that is so cool. Everybody remembers that movie where Robin Williams says, "Good morning, Vietnam." And I'm not sure if that was the name of the movie, but I remember that Robin Williams said that. All right, so that's the greeting for today. Everybody that's in the chat, thank you guys for being here. And I wanted to get started on some of the stuff. Yes, Unicorn Rampant Studio says he remembers. Yes, I remember. It was very popular at one point. And let's see. Let me see if I can get my banner game going. Um, the first up, I wanted to put this on the bottom. Um, I should change it. Hold on. I'm going to change the bottom ticker really quick. I'm going to call it something. I'm going to add morning on there. Morning show. There we go. And save live changes happening right now. We're making edits as we go to make the show better. And here we go, right down there. Perfect. All right, so I have a presentation for you guys. I don't know. I've been getting into presentation. I'm getting faster at it, which is good. That means that I can do better content when I'm faster. So I'm getting faster at making these these things. So let me see if I can bring in my slides. because I really enjoyed putting this one together because I loved um, this show that's on Disney Plus right now called Visions. Let's see if I can get it. Um, sorry for the sorry for the the delay, but I'm trying to uh, get faster at this. It's some things are going faster, and but other things I'm still learning. Okay, there we go. Um, it's processing. So I hope you guys have your coffee and everything. Got my coffee here. So just a little bit left in the cup. Almost done with it. But I also have some extra, something a little extra to drink here, a little bit of Zevia um, to keep me company. Okay, yes, it's uploaded. Okay, and let's get to the Star Wars Visions. Okay, so guys, if you have no plan on seeing this, and I mean, don't worry about it. I will just talk about it because I'm I really think it's really good. And even if I once I start to get into the details of it and kind of spoil it a little bit, you're still going to get a great it's nothing like actually seeing it, okay, is what I'm trying to say. So mm, on Disney Plus there is this new show called Visions, or this like show, I don't know what they would call it, like a um yeah, it's a show. I guess you can call it a show that's called Visions. So they had one already. It was Visions, the first Visions, and what it is really is a group of short stories that are told in of like 8 or 9 episodes. This uh, season there was 9 episodes, and they're little stories that have a beginning, middle, end, and that's it. That they're just one-offs, and they don't tell like multiple stories. They don't like hint that there's more. Um, you're definitely free to imagine more, but the container in which they are in is definitely one story, and I think they're like some of them are like 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So it runs the gamut, but they're short stories, and you're in and you're out, and then you're off to the next story. And I really adore that. Now, I did not have the pleasure of seeing Visions 1, and I was going to see that before seeing Visions 2, but I was like, well, I really want to comment on this Visions 2. And in order to see or enjoy Visions 2, you don't have to see Visions 1. So that's a plus. I love it when you can just come in right off the street and see something and not have to do any homework to learn about it. So that's one big plus for this like Visions seasons, or um and the other thing about this Visions um thing is that they're all animated. It's all animated. They do 2D animation, 3D animation. They do stop motion animation, which is great. I mean, I love that stuff. So, and there are right now, stop motion animation looks a lot like 3D animation. I can't tell these days. I mean, I used to be able to tell, and now I can't, because they have been able to master that flow between between uh, uh, slides or whatever. I'm forgetting the word. I should know the word, and but they're able to make the transition of movement a lot smoother, and I really adore that. I think another thing that they do is they do use some computer animation or computer assistance to help make some of that movement a lot smoother. I don't know if you guys have ever seen some of the channels that have kind of like they'll show you an old clip of a stop motion project or movie clip, and then they'll show you that same clip now using some kind of digital assistance. And I think they also use it here. So it is actually been a lot of fun to see this show. I mean, it's really good. Okay, so let's keep going. This was the promo for the show. There's 9 episodes, and I'm about to go into each one briefly, but I will say this just in general. This is a general thing. Besides loving this, okay, I have some notes I'm going to refer to down here. So besides absolutely loving this, I was really curious about this because it was about telling a story that was self-contained for like 20 minutes, and so that fascinates me about writing and storytelling. Like, how can you get in there and tell a story for that's only 20 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes long, that really seems to be fully contained, and you don't have to you don't have to ask extra questions. I mean, there may be some residual like curiosity, but how is that done? And just to understand the composition of how to write a good story or how to create a good story. And that's part of the reason why I'm so fascinated by this and I really enjoyed it so much. Okay, so let's see. I see some comments in, some new people. I've got Mick G13. Hi, Mick G13. Great to see you here. Hey, all, Screecher's Reach was my favorite Star Wars story since The Mandalorian season 2 finale. Also love Sith with its strong symbolism and frenetic art style. Yes. Wow, that's super awesome. I really like those too. And also I've got Sin Havoc 5150 here. Hello. Good morning to everyone in the chat. So good to see you. And yes, so okay, I'm gonna go by each one by one, and I'm gonna tell you right now, even the stories that I felt were the weakest stories were ended up like just staying with it for a few minutes was like, oh my God, drop my jaw. Drop my jaw. It was incredible. So I thought to myself, okay, let me start writing down little notes for these. Okay, so let me get to the first story, which is Sith, and this is what McG 13 was mentioning. It is so visually creative. It's definitely like looking at art move, right? Like the movement of art. And it's not a pretty it's not pretty, like, in a way, because there's something that feels like it's unfinished. It almost looks like a drawing that's, like, needs, like, the outline or needs, like, extra coloring. There's just it isn't, a pristine flow to the visuals as far as like looking like a finished product. It almost looks like it needs more, like somebody's not really drawing it on. And it's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look like unfinished art because we have this character. There's a girl who has a robotic arm. Okay, you can almost imagine how she lost it, but I mean, it's like a big chunk of her body is just this robotic piece. And um she is she wakes up in this room that looks like that's blank, like a blank canvas, and there's like lines, as you could probably see in this picture. There's lines and like things that are trying to make a shape, and then there's lots of dots, and she's as she's moving there's color that comes out, and all sorts of things. But it seems like every so often there's a dark color that comes out, and she says verbally like, oh, there's always darkness, there's always the threat of darkness. And it was really kind of cool. Let me see. Uh yeah, it's, and as the story continues, there seems to be more darkness growing as she's exploring this space. But she's actually being hunted by a Sith. And let's see if I can get a picture of this. Yes, this guy is really scary. But this is her master, and he wants her to come back to him. And it is so like, talk about tension. I was like, oh no, I hope doesn't end tragically, because there was a lot of tension in this. And this particular Sith was extremely scary, extremely fast, intimidating. And I just enjoyed watching uh, the play between the two characters and the fight scene. And as you could probably see for his lightsaber here, it kind of gives off this wild kind of energy, which I thought was sort of I don't know, it was just it was beautiful, to be honest with you. And here's a picture of them fighting and the sparks and everything. Just visually gorgeous, in my opinion. I love this stuff. So I was like, oh wow. um so it's basically in this story, um she's made a promise to him that she would be his Padawan, and she is trying to free herself of it, and he will not let her go. And so this is her fight for her own freedom, to decide what she wants to do. And I believe that still has that dark side in her, but there's a lot of light and a lot of color and a lot that she wants to play with. So there's play on light and dark, and good and evil. And those are the classic Star Wars tropes, right? Now, when you see this beautiful, uh, let me just make sure I do this here. Um, Sorry, forgot. I need to put this down there instead of the one I have. Right? Yeah, spoilers, because I don't want people to um I shouldn't say the end, what happens in the end, but is I'll just leave it like that. That's the basics of the story. Um, and it was really good. It didn't have a particular time period, is another thing that I liked. I mean, there's a couple others where you could kind of imagine what time period they were in, but on the most part, with this particular story, it could have happened, you know, thousands of years before Luke and Leia ever came on the scene, or it could be in the future of their world. So I thought that was so awesome. Like there was so much space to imagine and grow. If they ever wanted to continue this story, they could, but just having it as one little piece, it just was a breath of fresh air, is what I'm saying. So now I'm really curious as to what, if Visions, the first Visions season, if that was like this at all. From what I've been hearing from people, it's good, but I've been hearing that this season was even better. So I can't wait to judge it for myself. Now, let's see if I can go one more. Yeah, and so I would be also super, super interested in seeing um, this character in live action. I mean, it would be quite interesting to see this character in live action, um, because I think the way it's drawn is just and or the way it's designed, the characters are designed is quite unique. And so I would love to see a live action of this person, not in, not specifically in a story, but I just want to see what she would look like. It's just a simple curiosity. I don't need a entire series about that. So let's go back. Let's find out what you guys have been saying while I've been just talking about this and really loving. Like I can say this, I loved it this season so much. Hungry Jack says, Vision 2 is a Disney production. Yes, it is. They did Visions 1 a while back, and I'm not sure exactly when that was, but I totally missed it. And Visions 2 is the second season of this project of these little short stories told all over the galaxy, far, far away. Just wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. And Hungry Jerk says, "Is Sith Disney too?" Yes, all of this is Disney. Is one. It's really well done, and it they're using different animation companies to put this together, which I think is genius. This is allowing a lot of these other animation companies to get some much needed recognition and explore this opportunity to see other stories in the Star Wars universe. I've always said this is a huge universe and we're always playing with the same toys. I would love to see an expansion of these ideas and to see how other directors and creators would have those those characters behave. I mean, they could really be more a little bit more savage, or they could be more friendlier, or they could be more kid friendly or more grown up. But playing with these ideas, that is expansion and growth. I think for me, this is actually just wonderful to hear about this. And Sin Havoc is filling you in on the information there that it is, yes, definitely Lucasfilm, Disney. And Facing says in episode 1 that former Sith saying, "I'm no Sith," going her own way in the same way when Ahsoka left the Jedi. Amazing. Yes, there was a wonderful feeling to these stories, and this story in general. It had a very hopeful ending, and it feels quite wonderful to see like a story that feels like it's the end, but also a bit new beginning for her, a new beginning for her character somewhere out there in the galaxy. And Sin Havoc 5150 says both seasons, volumes of Star Wars Visions is on. Sorry, my let's do that over. Both seasons, volumes of Star Wars Visions is on Disney Plus. Yes, thank you for reiterating that. This is all on Disney Plus. Um, I am not being paid to say this because I just started getting into Star Wars again, and but I really like this. Um, what they were doing here. This really reminds me of the first season of The Mandalorian, how it was against it outside of uh the space and time of Luke and Leia, and just kind of in their own, it was in its own little pocket of time, and I enjoy that so much. And Sin Havoc says Knights of the Old Republic vibes. I I don't know that much about the Knights of the Old Republic, but that sounds really cool. Uh, I would love to see some stories about the Knights of the Old Republic. And McG 13 says Hungry Jack's Disney produced the show, but each story was created by a unique studio from different parts of the world. Sith was made by a Spanish studio, Guari. Okay, thank you, McG. I was actually looking for that online earlier today and could not find it. But each one of these stories for each episode was done by a different studio. So each one has a different look, a flavor, and is telling maybe sometimes similar stories, but differently. There's like a different payoff and a different focus, and I really like that about this. And Hungry Jerk says, I need to watch this. Yes, at least give it a shot. They said that Visions 1 was good. They said it had a very strong anime style. But Visions 2, and from what I am gathering right now is, from my point of view, Visions 2 was amazing. I am going to follow up with Visions 1 when I have time. And a very little limited time, but I will follow up with that. And Facing says, also her big black hair with hints of white was a nice visual for her state of mind. Yes, yes, the dark and the light, playing with that. That whole concept. Uh, great attention to detail. Facing. Love that. You guys are really giving me some good insights into this, and because that is part of, that's the physical manifestation, right? And then she also has, with her body being, she's mostly biological, but here she has this robotic arm. I mean, it's a chunk of her body. I can only imagine that she may have had fought her master in the past and lost, because you know how the Sith are, oh, they're all about losing some limbs, right? They're like, they'll take a limb or two, and just and still, you can be part of their group. And Sin Havoc 5150 says, Vision season 1 was last year. Okay, it was last year. I didn't know that. I didn't even hear about it actually. Broku says, because of your wonderful review, I'm looking forward to watching it. Oh, good. Yes. Trust me, what I have to say about it is nothing compared to what it's like to actually see the visuals. Sit down, relax, watch. And just like listen to the the sounds, the foley, listen to everything. It's really well done. Really well done. I approve, I approve, I approve. I approve. And Mick G13 says, yeah, Visions 1 was more Japanese anime focused, while season 2 was studios from all over the world. I thought season 2 was better than 1 overall, but 1 has a couple of gems like Studio Triggers the Twins. Ooh, okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm excited to see Visions 1. All right, so let's move on to the next story, which is G13's favorite. Isn't, am I correct on that one? I think so. Yes, that's McGee's favorite one is Screecher's Reach. Now, Screecher's Reach starts out really interesting. It's like a whole bunch of kids are in this factory world, like in this factory world, okay, where they're working like nine to five. Well, I'm not sure how long it is, but they get up in the morning and they go to work. And there's a group of kids that are really um, uh, they like hanging out with each other. This one kid here, um, has a brooch or a necklace that they found, like this brooch, but it has a communication kind of device on it. So they're getting information from this this brooch. It's like speaking to them. But in the beginning, you don't realize that it's speaking to this. I believe this is a girl. They didn't really say whether it's a girl or not. Um, actually, I'm not sure if they mentioned whether this character is a girl or a boy, but the character is drawn to go into this place called Screecher's Reach, which is a um, probably, am I spelling it right? Let's see. Yes, okay. Yes, which is sort of like a mountain that is like uh uh haunted with a ghost. No one goes in there because they are afraid of uh, what's inside. And it seems like there is a creature in there that is not necessarily a ghost. But what's more important is in this story is the relationship between the this character and there's like another boy character, and they have this really in intense conversation in which the boy character is like, yeah, well, if you get an opportunity to get off this, to get out of here, go take it. But they've kind of formed this family, these four kids. They've kind of formed a family within each other, kind of, and so we have um this whole thing is really, and you find out at the end that it's just a recruitment, really, because this creature in here is a Sith, and um this young um character is a Jedi. Well, no, she's not really a Jedi yet, but she's got talent. She's got talents, and so she uses her abilities and manages to escape this creature. But she doesn't just manage to escape it; she actually kills the creature, and it's like really intense. I mean, again, the emotional part is there, and also the tension. Again, the tension. I was really afraid for this cartoon character was gonna that something terrible was gonna happen to this cartoon character. It was just incredible. Um, and it's it's built up like this. It's gonna be like this kiddie thing, like it's gonna be about these kids. I was like, oh, this is. At first, I was like, oh, this is gonna be about kids. And then you get this serious part where there's a lot of tension, and I was just like, wow, uh this is a lot more tension than this really has any right to have. So I mean, I was blown away by that. And these are all the four of the kids, right? And this guy in the back is the one that told her, like, if you get your opportunity to leave, take it. And lo and behold, the necklace that she's been talking to is really uh uh been messages from a Jedi who has been kind of luring her. Well, we don't even really know if, hey, we don't even know if that's a Jedi or a Sith, to be very honest with you, because it's this creature here, which is who is uh who says, come with me, I'll take you away. You have special talents. I can nurture, and you can leave this place for a better life. And again, there's no time period associated with it. I mean, you would think this is imperial because of some imperial time period where kids are being forced to work in labor camps. I mean, this building that they're working in is extraordinarily um, depressing, but also complex, and it really gets you to, like, you can imagine all sorts of things going on there. But this was a fantastic idea, written well, and it had a lots of surprises. Um, and of course, the child now having to make the decision to leave. and looking at her friend saying, "Hey, is it okay to leave?" And of course, her friend is like, he's hurt. He's hurt because he's losing his friend. But yeah, that was what he had suggested. It's so in a way, it's dark. Having these kids being having to be taken away from their friends to go to this better life, and who knows what that is. You know, who knows what that is? So yeah, it was very interesting. It's just, and that's the thing that's really interesting. This creature here could have been a Sith. We don't know. We are never told whether it is a Jedi or a Sith. So we know that they both do the same thing, basically recruit children when they're very young. Um, in order to enhance their skills. So before I go on, and we'll see the what you guys have to say. Facing says episode 2 is great as the first. Even though I watch a lot of TV, it was nice to see some Irish folk lore. Who know lore? Who knows? I don't see much of them. Oh, really? I didn't know that this was from Ireland. Um, let's see. Fletcher Williams, I Suck at Games channel, says, Hail to Retro Nerd Girl, driving, but sending you positive energy. Oh, thank you, Fletcher Williams. Definitely drive safely. And I hope you get to your destination um, in great spirits. Facing says, the more I think about this Sith Master, the more I resent her. Only one can hope that the child doesn't fully adapt as an apprentice and crosses paths with the Jedi. Yeah, I mean, so it here you have this. Uh, this is an elaborate trap, basically, or luring system to get this young Jedi. Like, go to the cave, kill the Jedi, or kill the Sith within, and then you can come with me and become my apprentice. That sounds very Sithy to me. So, it was very interesting, and when you see this creature, it comes out really like majestically. It's like the voice is very soft and smooth and tempting and perfect for the dark side, I would say. Perfect. So yes, Unicorn Rampant City says deep stuff. Yes, yes. I mean, at first I was watching and I was like, this is not going to be my favorite. What am I watching? And then the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is getting good. There was real tension there. I was scared for this little character, and then the heartbreaking decision at the end was just incredible. um you know uh G13 can back me up on this. It was very deep. It was very intense and really good. Sean Ennis says, "Good morning." Oh, Sean Ennis, good to see you here. He says that I can't stay, but wanted to show this channel some support. But wanted to show the channel support and all these really cute smiley faces. Oh, thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it a lot. I could use the support. I'll take it. Oh my goodness, I appreciate you. Um, Let me see if I can um, get going on the next one. Let me see if there was anything else. Um, yeah, and I do like that before the kids go to Screecher's Reach, there's this sort of build up like, oh, this is a scary haunted place, and they're like, oh no, we can't go there, and so it was a nice little build up. And oh, the name of this character is called Dal, and she's it was, yeah, it was very, very manipulative the way she was kind of drawn into this situation, and I was like, wow, this is really, I don't know if this is kosher. Is this right? Is this uh yes, and McG13 just says the main character's Dal is is female. The woman at the end who recruits her is Sith, voiced by Angelica Houston. No wonder, yes. McG13 with the absolute awesome information, and overcoming the Screecher was her first test to join. Ah, yeah, very cool, very cool. Thank you for that information. See, I did not know that, and I did write down some information on my pad here. I was only thing I was able to get was her her name was Dal. I didn't realize whether she was female or not. Um, and I didn't want to assume. Now, Basing says, yes, this episode was made by an Irish studio. Some say that it adapts some local lore and stories. Oh, cool. And McGee says, Dow sadly traded by a bad situation with the workhouse for a worse one of a Sith apprentice. Uh, as a Sith apprentice. Yes, it's really sad. It was not I did not feel hopeful by the end, because you could feel the manipulation, um, and so the presence of this character, of this Sith, was very beautiful, right? Very majestic. And so I that's why I was wondering, is that was that really a Sith? And I guess I was right. It was a Sith. Uh, let's see. And you could only imagine that maybe this creature may have actually been her former apprentice, because they do stuff like this. Sith do like the wildest things. All right. So the next one uh, is In the Stars, and this one is clearly stop motion. And I kind of walked into this one like, okay, what's this? What is this? So the story begins with two sisters, and we have one sister is looking out for the smaller sister, and the smaller sister is um, really precocious, and they are, I would say, let me just set things up a little bit more. They live on this planet that's basically barren. They're the only ones left, and there's absolutely no one left on this planet, and the planet is like dying pretty much. They have no fresh water. The fresh water is really being stored and actually stolen by the the Imperials, and they're taking everything. The Empire is has destroyed this world pretty much. But this world is very interesting, as I'll explain as we go on. But uh, these two girls are, I guess their mom saved their lives, but also sacrificed herself in the process of trying to um, get rid of or beat the Imperials. And the mom was a Jedi, or she had skills, the skills of a Jedi, and she had the Force working for her. And so the little girl remembers her mom using the Force, and and she's like, "Oh, we must have it too," or she thinks that she must have it too. And so she's, always putting herself in danger. There's like a ship coming towards her, and she's trying to use her hand to stop the ship, and it's like what are you doing? You're gonna get yourself killed. Her bigger sister comes and grabs her and like pretty much saves her life. But she keeps doing stuff like this. She keeps doing like things that endanger their lives over and over and over again. And so the big sister has to always keep saving this little girl. It was really kind of getting annoying. But when you there was something to it. You see, you had they kind of switched the story up, and I kind of was surprised by this because the mom kind of tried to show them a little bit about their world. Their world used to be um, ruled by the stars up above, which shine on the planet, and all of this magical stuff would just come alive on the planet. It would, because of the industrial use of the empire and how they were abusing the planet, there were just clouds everywhere, so you couldn't see any stars. And every once in a while, there'd be a break in the clouds, and they could see a little bit of the magic. And so, they were able to tell that small backstory in this story, which I thought, oh, that's really clever. That this really short story was able to tell such a grand backstory. That was so wonderful. I thought for sure, like you need at least like an hour. And they were able to do that in such a short period of time and it turned me around to the story. I was like, okay, what's going to happen now? Of course, the little girl does something incredibly stupid, but in which she like wastes whatever water that they have left. So the the older sister has to go and get some more fresh water, and the way that she has to get more fresh water is that she has to steal it from the Imperials. And that is where the other thing about the older sister is that she doesn't believe in mad she has kind of lost her belief that there's any hope left. And unlike like the little sister has too much hope, she has too little. And so I thought that that was an interesting combination. Like, wow, that's an interesting story dynamic. And I thought it was really beautiful at the end how um, the two sisters really combined. uh Actually they it kind of brings itself to this kind of crescendo of, again, there's a lot of tension because they get caught and there's like this whole like running chase sequence. And just as you think, okay, it's the little girl is going to be the one with the powers, it's not the little girl. It's the older sister who never believed. And it was just like, what? Just incredibly like surprising and wonderful. And just the two sisters going up against these monsters. Now, they hold hands and they reach out, but I'm not even sure if it's the two of them actually like using the force at this point or if it's just one of them, but they managed to do what their mother wasn't able to do, which was take out this imperial thing here and this imperial like occupation and their little factory. And it was really interesting because it kind of immediately changes, the planet. They're able to see the stars again, and the stars are able to give light to the planet, and it starts to feel alive again. So they replenish their world while getting rid of those darn Imperials. And I did love the hopefulness of the end of the movie. I mean, not the movie, but the episode. I think it could have been. Um, I do like the fact that they turned me around from this person who was like, this isn't, gonna be any good. and but it ended up being so good. It was such a wonderful payoff to that story. And I don't know if any one of you guys know or have the information on where this story was made and which part of the world it was from. I believe, I'm not sure if it was South America, but everybody did have like a thick accent on this one as well. And yeah, some of these animations or episodes, the actors have accents, so you can tell like they're you can kind of guess what part of the world they're from. And so yeah, that was really pretty cool. I was surprised by that one uh, because it was really funny that the doubtful sister was the one that actually had Jedi powers. Um, and so yes, I'm actually um, a big fan of this one. Um, I'm a fan of all of them. That's the part that's really like wonderful. Let's see which one is next. Oh yeah, so this is them like facing off against the Imperials, so that we could kind of guess where and what time period this is, right? Um, and this is them fighting, working together as a team and believing together. Finally, both of the sisters believe and it's really like if you see this artwork, it's actually quite beautiful to see this artwork. Um, and we got Brogu saying, "How long are these episodes?" Some of them are like 9 minutes, 20 minutes. It's not nothing is more than like 25 minutes. I don't think that, according to my my memory, if memory serves me correct. Oh, Tim Talks here. Hello, Tim Talks. Says this one is one of my favorites. Oh yes, it was so good. It was so good, and very touching. Again, I was really kind of in the beginning. I was like, oh my god, this annoying child is getting everybody in trouble. But it worked. It just worked. It worked, and I did appreciate the art style, the creativeness here is just the creativity is just really the design. The design of the characters were really really good. And McCheese 13 with the information. Thank you, McCheese 13. I love it. You say that In the Stars was made by Punk Robot, a Chilean studio. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, they're amazing. Amazing. Like I'm a big fan of even everything to the face paint that these characters are donning, and their costuming. Everything was just there was such attention to detail, attention to detail on this particular one. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Now the next one, I've already heard a lot of people um, talk about this one, and it's not everyone's favorite. I'll say that, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. This one is really this one of all of the the stories. This one feels the most um kid friendly. The one that, I could see them doing episodes of to help, to have kids be more involved in Star Wars. Like even like kids that are like 2 and 3 and 4, just to have something to watch on TV. Like really, really young kids, preschoolers. Like this is the kind of thing that it would do. And the art style is cute. It's very cute. So it's meant to feel like a toy, don't you? Don't you get that sense of the cuteness? And I forgot the young girl's name. Let me see if I have a name. But basically, I Am Your Mother is a play on I Am Your Father, but done not so devastatingly, brutally done as I Am Your Father. This is more for fun, and it really talks about the family dynamics of a mother and daughter that have uh, kind of lost their closeness over the years. The mom is super, super cute, super excited, and is desperately trying to do anything and everything possible to be a part of her daughter's life. But her daughter wants to grow up and do other things, and she's also ashamed of her mother as well, as far as like she just wants to, play things a little bit understated, and her mom is kind of a big, loud character, which is totally understandable. As you get older, you change your objectives. And she at this point wants to fit in with people a little bit more, but she has designs on becoming um, a pilot. And so there's this big event that's hosted by none other than a Wedge, guys. We know who Reg is, right? From the original series, the original movies. And so Wedge is holding this really cool contest where, and I forgot what the exact prize is, um, but and yeah, it's an event for cadets, and they have um oh, you're gonna love this, but I'm gonna keep going. Let's see. Yeah, there's um a rival mother and daughter team that have hairstyles that are in the shape of Darth Vader's. I thought that was really cute. What a cute little thing. And this is really for kids. This is for kids, of course. And so they have this huge, like, pod racing kind of event where they're racing from one place to the other in these vehicles. And there's lots of cheating going on. There's lots of unique, stuff happening here and there. And uh, this is a time when uh, the main character and her mother finally gets to work together and like uh, find some sort of, I guess, peace with each other. I guess, the daughter, realizes that her mother really just wants to do the best that's for her. And and uh, and them just making up in a getting closer. And it was sweet. It was sweet. I enjoyed it a lot. It probably, yeah, there they are hugging, and it was adorable. It was just adorable. So no complaints about that. It was not a bad episode. It's not as poignant as the others. I will say that this is very surface. This was like the most surface level of all of them that there is. And it was truly still a spectacle. There was a lot of stuff going on there. And let's see the next story. Now, I this story is definitely anime style. Um, definitely anime style. Um, Journey to the Dark Head. And this had like a manga anime feel to it. Very nicely done. The main Okay, so the main character, well, it starts with this female character who is sort of like a soothsayer, or she sees into the future. And she keeps seeing like certain visions in the future, and she just doesn't understand it. So um she is trying to like figure out like what to do. She goes to her council, and they say, oh, well, you need a Jedi to accompany you on this mission. And you're going to uh I forgot exactly what it was that she was supposed to do, but it ended up that she was going to um, destroy one of they were going to go to this monument. There's this monument with the dark side on one side in blue, and the others the wait a minute, the dark side on one side on with red, and another side there's another head that is blue for the good side, or the side of light. And then in between there was like a walkway between. And so in this like these are giant structures that are in the sky, and she was going to go there with um by herself, but they told her, hey, go with the Jedi. So she goes with the Jedi. And when she goes with the Jedi, uh or when she finds the Jedi, this Jedi um is it uh he's like there's a person who's tracking down this Jedi. Now, initially he would not have found the Jedi, but because these two are talking in the specific time and the place that they're talking, this character, the Sith character, is passing by, and that Sith wants this this Jedi. He wants him to be his Padawan. And it's really quite, he's very aggressive about it. He doesn't even have any qualms about shooting down their plane. And it's really high tension and really intense the way he goes after this Jedi. And so it's almost self-prophesizing, right? This girl says that she has these visions about Jedi fighting and a Sith fighting, and um, they're both fighting in between the two statues, and basically she made it happen by just insisting that hey, something has to be done. So it's then that she realizes that we need both the light and the dark, and so there's this whole process that happens in that. And I really enjoyed this fight scene that happened between the Sith and this Jedi. Very intense. And it's really like one of the juicier fights. um and he's super aggressive about getting this kid. It's really wild. um but it was fun. It was, and this kid kind of gave me like Luke vibes. Like he reminded me of Luke a lot. And again, they it's non-descriptive about when this happens. Like, so I don't know, I have no clue when this happens in the timeline. uh which is great. Okay, so um the next one is, let me see if I wrote anything else. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, the moral of the story, which is really great. All of these have sort of like a moral to them, or meaning, like meanings to them. Um, um, it's really about the coexistence of the light and the dark. That you can't have one without the other. Um, and one thing that I really enjoyed, I talked about the tension, but there was a lot. There was a lot of tension, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And one particular thing I just do love, and I'm gonna reference the picture really quickly, is the seduction, the seduction that the Sith go through to get the people that they want. This is elaborate stuff, like we saw earlier, with the first, um, we saw earlier with Screecher's Reach, how seductive the Sith can be to try to lure in their apprentices. And this is exactly what is happening here. It's like, there's this intense, seductive, all the things he's saying to this Jedi is really quite interesting, and their fight is just it's like mwah. That's just wonderful. I enjoyed it. Now, this one, guys, is my very, very favorite spy dancer. Um, it's hard for me to say, is it really my favorite? Because there's another one that's amazing. Uh, hmm. Okay, Spy Dancer. Love this one so much. Okay, so it starts off with these stormtroopers wanting to, getting off work. They've just done whatever ridiculous thing that they've done already. And they're getting off work. They need some relaxation, some entertainment. And so there's this huge hall that they go to where there's dancers and performers that are doing like a Cirque du Soleil kind of thing. And we have this very beautiful performer that is about to do a performance. And we discover that while she's performing, she puts trackers on all of the stormtroopers and officers in order for the rebellion to track where they're going and figure out like what's going on, where they're going, what they're doing. Okay, and this is the huge hall, and these are all the stormtroopers. They're just chilling. They're like, uh, there's no big deal. But while she's performing, she sees an imperial officer, but the thing that lets her know, the thing about this imperial officer is that he has a cane. Now, this cane is the same cane that was that she saw the day that an imperial officer stole her baby. So she had a baby, an imperial officer with a cane like this stole the baby, and it's been like 30 years or so. And there there that person is. She at first we're led to believe that this is the imperial officer that stole her baby, but when we see his face we realize that it's not, it's someone else. And there's her doing her wonderful performance. It was incredible. This is all animation, but it was so pretty, so pretty. I would. This is a still of her dancing around the room and dropping those tracking devices the um, on the stormtroopers without them even noticing that she's doing it, because she's being camouflaged by this long train of fabric. And there we have a close-up of her. Now, one thing that you can see striking about her is that she has tiny horns, and each eye has a different color. One is blue and one is green, and that's a typical trait for her race of people or species. And so, um, at some point, she is able to make contact with um, this imperial officer, who turns out to be her son, and she knows it's her son. And she gives him a hug and gives him an emblem uh, for him uh, to use. I mean, well, an emblem, and then we get a close up of him, and basically he um, has a patch over his eyes, and where his horns would have been, you see like a red scar, and so you could only imagine that this imperial officer that stole him was looking for a son to raise, and grabbed him and said, "Look, well, we're going to remove everything about you that looks like an alien." right? Remove the other eye color that doesn't look like it's human, the red sorry, the yellow eye um that he has, because if we look at his mom, oh yeah, if we look at his mom, she has a yellow eye. That eye is removed, and they also removed the horns. So it was quite uh, brutal to realize, wow, this person has been abducted from his home, and doesn't know anything about that. All he knows is about being an imperial officer, and the emblem that she gives him, he can see pictures of himself as a baby. It's really sad. It is super super sad, but there's a glimmer of hope, because she escapes, and she's able to just let him know that he is not who he thinks he is. Um, and probably deep down inside, he's probably already always known that he's been different. And so before we move on, I see a familiar face in the chat. It's Thrash Pondopons. Hello, Thrash. How are you? So good to see you here. Says, hey, cats and kittens. I'm at work now, but on a break. So I had to stop by and say hello, RNG, and all my YouTube friends. Oh, so good to see you here. And I'm glad you were able to take like a small break and just stop in. We have been missing each other on lives, but hopefully I'll be able to catch one of your lives too, because it's just busy schedule over here. And look, Unicorn Rampant Studio says, "Hey Thrash." Yes. Okay. So, yeah, that this is one of my favorites, and one of the things that I really loved about this was the emotional piece. They nailed it. They nailed it on this one. How emotionally driven it was, but there again, tension. There was tension, as I mean, there were moments I thought this lady was gonna get hurt or killed or captured, and she's battling all the stormtroopers in the place. I mean, it is she fights up against her own son at one point, and it's really insanely um, just delicious. The whole thing was fantastic. Loved this particular one. Um, um, And let's see, the next one is Bandits of Golak. And this one is clearly done by an Indian studio. It was really interesting to see. Um, and it was, I believe this is fully CGI. At first, I thought it was a painting. I was like, oh, it's good. This looks like a painting, but it was definitely CGI. Let's see if I have, okay. Um, the Okay, so basically what it is that there's I'm not sure who this guy is to her, if he's her father or a friend or a brother, but he's looking after this child. And the child is force sensitive, okay? And liberally uses the force, but when she does, everyone is looking at her very suspiciously. So this may have been after the, Order 66, when they were trying to track down anybody who had the Force, and either trying to bring them in to become Inquisitors, or sadly exterminating any people who could have been Jedi. So um, it's really interesting because there's a lot of action sequences that happen throughout the story as they get to this town, and in the town they they're pretty okay in the town until, of course, the little girl starts using the force um, again, she's a lot like the little girl in the stars, where you're like, could you stop being annoying for 5 minutes? And it's like real children. Like some children are very precocious like that, and some children are well behaved. And I think it's a fallacy to portray every child like this. It really is. But it's the only glitch in the thing, because it actually makes the story interesting, because this guy is so protective of this girl. He's doing everything he can to protect her. But when he gets there, they're like, um, when he when they get there, it's really like, when they find out that she is a force sensitive child, they're after her, and there's this bad guy that shows up, and he is actually really interesting and exciting. They put a lot of focus on him, and he's extremely threatening. You're really afraid for these people. A lot of, again, the tension is there, and you're scared. You're very scared that something terrible is going to happen. But all of a sudden, they show you this older lady earlier in the story, but all of a sudden she busts out like two lightsabers, and it gets wild. Now, this was actually really cool. This is the first time I'd ever seen a grandma or older woman be a Jedi. So that was really exciting, and she's quick, she's fast, and they really go to town, and she beats the bad guy. It was really awesome. And the thing about this was that she also recruits the little girl, and I thought it was very unique how she did that. But it's another case in which, okay, we've discovered that you're a Jedi, you have Jedi powers. Now you have to leave your family and come with me. So she has to leave this young man, and it really was kind of heartbreaking. But at the same time, it's like, wow, how many times do the Jedi, you know, you know, do this? They're like separating people from their families, and he's never going to see her again. And it does break your heart. It really does. So I thought that was good. It was a bittersweet, but I enjoyed it so much. I really did. I thought it was very well done too. Um, and a very unique take on all the like aliens and characters. Just I love the creativity, and seeing the Indian influence over this particular section of this particular episode was really something I'd never seen in Star Wars before, and I loved it. Absolutely, I loved it. Now the next one. Um the next one is one of the saddest stories. It is brutal. Okay, brutal. This one is so brutal, guys. It's called The Pit, and it's the eighth story. We're almost done. Um, the animation studio. It really has this feel. If you're seeing this picture, it has a feel of like heavy metal, right? It kind of reminds you of heavy metal, that this kind of style, but also has a strong anime flavor to it as well. And so I really enjoyed the visual look of this particular segment. So we have these stormtroopers that are gathering people from all over the galaxy to dig in the middle of a desert world. Now, this desert world, they don't say exactly what it is, and we don't think it's Tatooine, but it's a desert world. And when you dig into this world, there's a certain amount of time you can dig until you reach the kyber crystals, within the planet's core. And so n- they all gather around and keep digging and digging and digging and digging for the kyber crystals. And as they're digging, a few miles away, there's a city being created, and it just starts growing, and it's a fully fledged city, and it's like just incredibly done. As far as like, there's a time lapse where you can see how everything is growing and growing, growing, growing. Wonderful visual storytelling. But then once they reach the end of the line and there are no more kyber crystals, see, yeah, these are the people that are put to work. And they have children, and there's all sorts of people that they have put to work. And there's let me see if I've gotten this yet. Okay. And at the end, they've gotten to the end, and they're like, okay, yeah, we're all free. But what happens is that the stormtroopers leave them in the pit, and they're unable to get to the top to escape. So it's really dramatic, them trying to get out of this hole in order um, to escape, and they can't. So one of them actually does get a chance to do that. Let's see if I can. This guy here, he gets a chance to do this. He goes through all the trials and the tribulations of getting up over the rocks, and there's even a little burrowing animal that helps him create like a pathway to the top. And he gets up there, and he finally walks to the city and tries to get their help. The stormtroopers grabs him, and then takes him back to the pit, and they throw him into the pit. And you can't he doesn't make it, right? I mean, we're talking about depressing. That's pretty awful. And so before he died, he talked to this little girl. I think it's his daughter, but we're not really certain. But he tells her that to follow the light, you know, as sort of like a way um of keeping her inspired, right? And so she's like, she takes this all in. So after he dies, um she says, follow the light, and that becomes a mantra within the whole group. And so they repeat it over and over and over again, and the people in the city hear them and follow their voices until they can come and help them. It's really interesting. But at the end, uh, the girl is holding one of the kyber crystals, and she is able to levitate it and turn it blue. So obviously, she has um, Jedi, or she's force sensitive. So that was kind of like a cool discovery that had, that she had those powers, that she was, had those abilities. It's really kind of hopeful in at the end, because of course they all escape, but it'll be a journey for them to integrate into society again. But it was uh, a, a a depressing story of these people working um, to the nth of their survival, and left there just to die by the stormtroopers. Very cruel and unusual brutality. So yeah, that was another incredible story. Now the last one, guys, is another one that this is one of my favorites. I would say my three favorites is Spy Dancer, The Pit, and Oz. Aoi song. I think the way you pronounce it is Aoi. Okay, so Aoi is this little girl creature. She's so adorable. Oh my God, she's so cute. She's a little girl creature that has a special relationship with her dad. They're so cute together. And single dad raising a little cutie patootie girl. And he keeps telling her to not to be loud, and tell her not to sing because when she sings, something happens to like all the kyber crystals. Now, in this world that they're in, there's kyber crystals like everywhere, and there's kyber crystals in a mine, especially that they've been mining. Um, and so it's been very interesting that 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 they won't, she can mess everything up with her voice. So she's very quiet, and she like tiptoes around everywhere. It's so cute. She's adorable. And she isn't quite as precocious as the other kids, but she is more like curious, right? Um, so she's always like snooping and, trying not to be seen. And this lady here is actually a Jedi that comes to visit Aoi's father, and uh, says, "Hey, look, uh, the kyber crystals are all red. We can't get it to change, and so there must be a problem." And so this is something that if they're going to be giving these kyber crystals to Jedi, they need them to be clear, right? Purified. And so that's the problem here. And so let's see. Is that the last one? Yep. A little preview of my score. Uh, so Allie is really the secret to it all, but there's a lot of like before we get to that part, there's a little bit of adventure, some tension, and just I would say her like trying to not be seen, but something is calling her to these crystals. They're calling her. They're like literally calling her. And so, in the middle of everything being weird and crazy, she is able to sing and purify the crystals, which is I found very interesting that she could do that with her voice. And this lady here actually takes, says, "Oh, Awi, that's very good. Would you like to be a Jedi?" But you'll have to leave your home and never come back. It's just awful the way the Jedi do their thing, but it is part of the story that we're seeing over and over and over about the Jedi and the Sith recruiting these people, recruiting these children and separating them from their home. So it's yet another story like this. But Aoi is so adorable and cute. This story is definitely another one for children. It's like this one is it's not as complex as the other ones. In fact, all of these children could probably see, but this one is definitely um, much more playful, but has a serious tone. There's no jokey slapstick stuff going on here. It's on target, it's focused, but it's also adorable. Like little kids are gonna love it. Okay, just saying. But and I love it. The little kid in me loves it. Is I want an owie doll, okay, right now. Right now. I hope that they figure this out. Like you gotta make yourself an owie doll for people to enjoy. This is so cute, this design. Um, and all of the characters actually are super cute in this segment. So Yeah, I absolutely loved Visions. My score is a 9.8. Uh, again, it was, if I could say anything that I was not excited about or not happy about was the depiction of children as always, annoyingly precocious. But there, I mean, no, not all kids are like one kid, yeah, but not every kid. So, and I think Aoi got it right. Aoi got it right. How you play a kid that gets into trouble, but she's not like being a jerk about it, you know? She's following her this thing, that's calling to her. And she's following her instincts, which everybody can understand. So, yes, I give it a 9.8. Wonderful stories. Enjoyed them all. It was a pleasure to watch all of it and to see all of the different art styles. It you know, I just adored it. The story is really what it is, right? So when you have like good storytelling, um, that it transcends anything. It transcends aesthetics, and it transcends uh, time. I mean, there's some of these here that are you don't know what time period it's being taken place in, and so that's the thrill and fun of it. So yeah, definitely had a blast with this. I hope that you enjoyed me chatting endlessly about about this. It was fun, guys. It was fun. And so there was some other things that I wanted to talk about in the entertainment news field. Let me see if I can find the proper banner for that and remove this. And we'll see if there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, where's my, bear with me. I got my cue cards. um, all right. So yeah, we talked about Star Wars Visions. Loved it. Okay. I mean, how many times am I gonna say that? I can't express how much I loved it. The next thing I wanted to talk about was like the biggest news right now is the biggest news right now. Let me see if I can call it up. Um, I almost ended the stream just now by accident. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry that didn't happen. I mean, I'm sorry that that almost happened. Let's see if I can get this going here. All right. Um, so yeah, this is it. How this is from Deadline, and this says how a WJGA hit squad is shutting down Hollywood one by one, shot at a time. Okay, so this is just one article about the writer's strike, but the writer's strike is really getting to be a big, big deal because a lot of productions are now shutting down. And it's really kind of startling because um, oh, look who's here. Alex Dawson is here. Hello, Alex. It says, happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Wednesday to you as well, Alex. Um, and Unicorn Rampant Studio says, howdy to Alex. Let's see. What is going on? There we go. It's like a little glitchy right there. Yeah, the whitish writer's strike is shutting down a lot of productions. Like Blade is on pause for right now or on hold. Andor is also they shut down production. Um, and who knows what else? I haven't heard much else, but definitely Blade is which has had its fair share of issues. The new rebooted movie that is supposed to come out from Marvel Studios is on hold for the time being, and so is Disney Plus Andor. There's also some commentary, or there's some stories out there that uh, Disney really wants showrunners to continue to with their stories, with their productions, because deadlines and different things like that. But they are, uh, I think they are going to fine some showrunners if they don't produce or if they don't continue their projects, and so the producers may be in trouble for pausing these shows, or end projects, because um, and if they don't, they're most likely going to get fined by the WGA. So it's really a tough situation for these guys at the time being. This particular story. Um, it says the writers are organized. There have been thousands of writers picket, pit, picketing outside of the traditional Hollywood studios from Disney, NBC, Universal, Paramount, Sony, and Warner Brothers, as well as the tech upstarts Netflix and Amazon. But Deadline understands a more low-key operation is in place to target specific locations across LA that are being used for filming in order to shut them down and wreak havoc on the studio's bottom line. We hear that we hear the team has managed to stop production on series such as Disney's Disney Plus Marvel drama Wonder Man and Apple's Maya Maya Rudolph's front Maya Rudolph fronted dramedy Loot. Sorry about me, like, not speaking properly. I am being attacked by the allergies right now, but it's okay. We're gonna power through. How did they do it? Austin. Oh God, now I get one of those weird words I can't pronounce. And ostensibly, with two people each holding picket signs. Under labor laws, that's all that's required for an official picket line, which in turn means that the other unions from IATSE to Teamsters can refuse to cross the picket line. Last week, Wonder Man, which stars Yahya Abdul Mateen II, as the as the titular character, was shooting in Hollywood, and the squad managed to disrupt proceedings. And then on Monday, the show, which was created by Daniel Cretton and Andrew Guest, was filming at CBS's Radford location, where again they were met by picketers. Given that the series was originally planned to shoot through August, one would imagine it may be hit again. Yeah, so that's that's some kind of serious hustle by the picketers. They are trying to find out where the um, the locations are that are shooting and stopping the production. And that's the only way that they're going to be able to make a dent in Hollywood, because uh, they've got to be vigilant about this if they want to make an impression. The only problem is that uh, we're probably going to suffer for it, because depending on what studios are doing, they may not be producing the best quality uh, products that we could have because of time constraints, and also because they just don't have the right writers, or they can't have writers be able to make changes on the spot. And it'll be interesting to see what materials come about it. All of these interesting productions that are going to be coming out in the next, um, say, 6 months to a few years. We'll see if they are going to be any good. Uh, because that is the true issue, is that how important are the writers in Hollywood, and do studios really need them? And the answer should be yes, uh, but I think at this point they're trying to work around that. Um, they're trying to work around that little issue. Any other topics for today that I can think of? There's the stuff with Jonathan Majors is pretty interesting. I'll talk about that very briefly. Let's see if I have the article handy. Uh, it's really kind of weird. I mean, I'm not going to lay down any kind of let's see what you guys are saying. Uh, Keith E says the only problem was they couldn't decide what to write on the picket signs. Yeah, there were some really interesting picket signs that were that I saw. It was really yeah, such a true thing, such a true statement. Um, and let's see. Yeah, this is getting more and more interesting um every day, and like, or bizarre if you want. And so I really um don't want to lay any claims or any uh, choose any sides at this point, uh because it, we have no real knowledge whether this if he is innocent or guilty. um but um the circumstances here are getting weird. Jonathan Majors appears via Zoom for assault case hearing. Next court date is set for June. Okay, so here's the weird thing. Let's see. So he appeared in court. Um, what the He is supposed to appear in June again, and the thing is that on June 13th, and he has to come, because if he doesn't, a warrant can be issued for his arrest within 24 hours. And the other thing that's really kind of um, odd is that the his girlfriend, or the girl that he was with, um, claimed that he um, abused her, recounted that, and now has said, I take that back. So, so it's like, okay, she's bounced back and forth. Um, since then, Majors has released a couple of, those text messages that I think we all saw in the media, that was circling around, about her saying, "Hey, it was my fault." And some people were even saying that wasn't a good look, because it only looks like she was in denial. So there are many ways to to see this, definitely. And they're they're saying, of course, there were lots and lots of people who had things to say about Jonathan and his behavior prior to all of this, during that time. Since then, about, like, saying, we haven't even heard all of those accounts of what they are saying either. We just know that there are people who are coming out, or who are willing to testify against him in court about his behavior, which is very interesting. And then the it says here the alleged victim. Let me see. No, no, no. Okay, the legal team for Majors has denied any wrongdoing and has released text messages and videos that were intended to prove the embattled actor's innocence. In one text exchange, which was not been independently verified, the woman wrote Majors, "I told them that it was my fault for trying to grab your phone," and stressed that she told police this was not an attack. And so you would think that that would make, hey, all of this is unnecessary. Let's go back home. Uh, and they're really um, think that there's a case here, and there must be something that they're going to release, because they're going through with it. It says his criminal defense lawyer Priya Chaudhry issued a statement after Tuesday's court appearance, calling the case a witch hunt and claiming the proceeding is saturated with explicit and implicit bias. She also alleges the treatment of Majors, whom she describes as a black man weighing 200 pounds, highlights the racial bias that permeates the criminal justice system. And she goes on and says, "We have provided the district attorney with infutable evidence that the woman is lying, including video proof showing nothing happened, especially where she claimed she wrote when she did this with the explicit promise from the DA that they would not fix their case to change it as we prove the woman is lying." Um, so initially, when it says we did this with the explicit promise from the DA that they would not fix their case and change it as we proved the woman was lying. So there there was an agreement that the DA would not change their their case, but it says here that Chaudhry also alleges the woman hasn't been consistent with her account of the incident. Now we have obtained even more evidence of his innocence, but we are hesitant to share it for fear that the DA will tip the woman off to change her story again. Eek, that is interesting. I've never heard of that. Yeah, I've never heard of that. That is really wild. Um, Brogu says, "Our community is better because of you, Richard Nerd Girl. Thank you for a wonderful show." Oh, thank you for being here. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. And yes, it was. I really had fun this morning. I'm wrapping it up soon. Uh, let's see. Um, yes, that's really shocking to me. I really have never heard of uh, uh, anyone like withholding evidence because they're only going to switch and change it, which makes sense, right? It makes sense. Um, so yeah, that's pretty scary if you ask me. And I hope we get, I hope we see the truth. I hope the truth prevails. That's what I hope. Yeah, I hope the truth prevails, whichever way it goes. Um, and it's really disappointing that that is happening. But on a brighter note, I just wanted to go through um, this cool little article I found from the Direct, that lists all five MCU movies and shows filmed this month. And speaking of the MCU, my mom saw Guardians of the Galaxy recently, and she said she loved it. And so I take her word for it that she loves it. I was asking her about the story, and I was really surprised to find out that she did not see Guardians 1 or 2. So I guess you could actually see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 without seeing the first two movies and still enjoy it. It's pretty impressive. So I'm really looking forward to when I can actually see it. Probably once it comes on streaming because you guys know my situation. I cannot get to a theater, so I live vicariously through everyone else. All right, and so let's see the five movies. We have Captain America: New World Order. Are we finally gonna get this? Oh, it's still in production. It's still in production, guys. This is really tough to have to wait this out, but it is still in production. Um, and then we have Agatha Coven of Chaos, another one we've been waiting a very long time for, and it would be great to see it. They said Agatha first began production in January in Atlanta and has been rolling cameras ever since. Wow, that's a long time. Since January, that's 5 months, guys. And let's see, did they say how long? Oh, okay. So for the Captain America New World Order, their production has been began March 21st in Atlanta, and it will keep going until June 30th. All right, let's see what else. Daredevil Born Again is in production. Let's see where it started in early March on the streets of New York City, and it doesn't say how long it will go on until. And then let's see what else. The fifth and final one is Deadpool 3. That's gonna be starring Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Guys, that is gonna be fun. Currently, the third movie starring Ryan Reynolds, Merc with a Mouth, is expected to start production in late May in London. However, last fans heard new writers just joined the project. Well, there is a strike going on, so that might be on pause. That one might be on pause. And so, yes, and also a little bit more on Blade news is that it was supposed to start production this summer in Atlanta. So I guess that's not happening. That's pretty sad because I am very curious about that Blade movie. Uh, it seems like a doozy, right? Blade seems like it would be a complete doozy because Blade is one of the most interesting characters in the MCU that is like more earth grounded. Think like a vampire story. I love like that darker element of the of Marvel comics, and so surprised that we haven't gotten a reboot so far. I have at least 20 stories in my head right now of about Blade that I can't believe that it's taken this long for them to put something together. So uh, and let's see. Unicorn Rampant Studio says the Jonathan Majors thing is cloudy. Best to hold on. Yes, best to hold on and not make any assumptions yet. And again, hoping and praying that the truth will be revealed. All right, guys. Well, I am going to wrap things up here. I'm going to play my video for you. I appreciate every last one of you who has been watching this morning and been keeping me company as I talk endlessly about my love of Star Wars Visions and a few little things that are happening in entertainment news. And let's see if I can find that video. All right, yes, I found the outro video. Um, guys, have a fantastic day. Um, this little video will give you a chance to leave comments in the chat to the friends that you have in the chat, to the friends we made, and any messages you may have for me. And without further ado, I bid you adieu. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.